All right. Well, if everybody's ready to go, everybody's in roll 20, everybody's in D&D Beyond, we'll go ahead and get started on simply another band of curiously odd travelers. Session number 26. Getting up there.
Half a year.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
When
A very fucking long time.
It's been a long time since our last session, over a month. Everybody's back from TwitchCon now. Everybody's back from their
I'm
various.
gonna be honest. We started the campaign, I think, last year.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
scrolling
Oh
back to
yeah.
see
It was like the
you've
beginning of
got
last year
images
in like
posted in
January.
January.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've got
Yeah.
January 7th is when you gave us the motives.
Right.
Oh my god.
Your
yep.
personal
Posted
quest.
how contamination works. Which now that I look at this, sorry to delay it a little bit further, but the fact that we have had only two mutations so far?
2 or 3. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Or maybe 3 mutations, and we've been playing this campaign for 26 sessions and for almost 2 calendar years. We've been pretty
Careful
good
what
about
you
that.
ask for.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
We're fucked.
No, I want mutations. That shit's cool as hell. Now that I know, that's like.
But yeah, with that look back, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome everyone to, again, episode 26 of Simply Another Band of Curiously Odd Travelers. Last time, our curious band had found themselves out of the catacombs of the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio, having recovered a number of important documents, interesting artifacts of the former ruling family of Drakenheim. One of the items of the small council down in the catacombs, the phylactery of St. Vitruvio, one of the seals of Drakenheim, as it were, a sign of the small council, formerly worn by the High Flamekeeper of the city, one of the members of the small council. In addition, you all recovered the legendary sword, the Sword of Burning Truth, Ignatius, one of the sacred relics of St. Vitruvio, a powerful weapon in and of its own right. Upon arriving back on the upper ground in the main lobby of the cathedral, around the bronze brazier that was now being tended to by members of the Sacred Flame, accompanied by Knights of the Silver Order, as well as banded members of the Hooded Lanterns here in Drakenheim. And at the last moment, a contingent of individuals representing the church or the sect of the Falling Fire, a splinter sect of the Church of the Sacred Flame that worshipped the fallen meteor as something more than a calamity, but more so as a sign of grand things to come in the world. Not just the representatives, but the creator of said sect, one Lucretia Matthias, a powerful cleric in and of her own right, who demonstrated her presence upon entering the cathedral. Not to the immediate anger of those knights present, as Lucretia Matthias has found herself directly in confrontation with the Silver Order, as well as the main body of the Church of the Sacred Flame out of Illyria, the other major political power on the continent, besides the country of Westamar, where Drakenheim was the former capital, and the other country on the opposite end of the continent known as Caspia. 3 major powers of the continent, now to some degree all represented in this small contained space, as well as the major powers such as the Amethyst Academy that was also present, Later, you found yet another group that had wormed their way into the meeting that had sparked from what originally started as minor confrontation, but now was beginning to boil over in even more dangerous circumstances, to say the least, as the Silver Order now desired to eliminate the greatest threat that they saw to the world, these arcane crystals that came alongside the crash of the meteor that were now not only creating a powerful source of magical energy on the continent, but also a powerful source of malaise and contamination on the continent. After a number of disagreements between the Hooded Lanterns and the Silver Order wanting to simply level the city and eliminate all sources of delirium, the Falling Fire wanting to utilize this material as a holy device. And you come to find out that the higher ranking members of the Church of the Falling Fire, the sect of the Falling Fire, in fact had crystals, shards of delirium wedged deep within their own bodies. And yet they did not succumb to the contamination that you all have seen time and time again. Various creatures and humans succumbing to such contamination, and yet they resist such negative ill effects of this raw magical stone. Somehow their methods have contradicted the basic arcane components of this delirium, arcane effects that you've seen time and time again, corrupting the city at its very core. While the Hooded Lanterns seek to reclaim the city as the capital city of Westamar, Silver Order seeks to eliminate this potential threat to the world. The Falling Fire seeks to utilize this newfound item and finds it to be a part of a sort of prophecy, if you will. In addition, you see that the Amethyst Academy sees the delirium as a source of power and betterment for society. And in addition, as this head-to-head confrontation comes nearly to blows, an individual steps forward within this confrontation within the cathedral. A young woman who demands that you turn over all the seals that you've found thus far, among which is the Lord Elias Drexel, the Lord Commander of the Hooded Lanterns, carries the Lord Commander's seal. In addition to the Stewart seal that you had carried, and now the phylactery of St. Vitruvio, representing the religious aspect of the city. Carrying 3 of the 6 seals of the city of Drakenheim, of the small council, this young woman stepped forward. And after a brief confrontation and what suddenly almost came to blows, you realize that this individual had strapped themselves with arcane explosives, enough to kill everyone in the cathedral many times over, and claiming that they had no intention of leaving without said seals or the death of everyone in the cathedral. You learn that this young woman in some way is either being manipulated or commanded or outright controlled by none other than the Queen of Thieves herself. as she demands the seals as well as a number of other items that you found deep within the catacombs of the cathedral. In addition, she takes the time to reveal a number of negative aspects of everyone present. With the Hooded Lanterns, she reveals that Lord Elias Drexel had a hand in the attack upon Kesselholm Keep, that Georgio resulted in the death of your mother. Although it ended the civil war that plagued Westamar for nearly 15 years following the fall of the meteor, it was merely a ruse for something far more sinister. Silver Order, Cedric, you learned, as you already roughly knew, the Silver Order had a hand in the death of potentially many innocent young mage-born individuals on the continent. A sort of backlash to the ancient evils of what was formerly, or later became, the Amethyst Academy, but was originally the rule of what was known in ancient times as the Sorcerer Kings. Mage-born individuals that utilize their grand arcane powers to manipulate and control the world in a severe and tyrannical manner, spawning the very religion that came to destroy them, the Church of the Sacred Flame. In addition, she pointed out Chugrulk, a large, prominent bounty on your head that has followed you for many years now. And Tim pointing out that by all accounts you should have been put to death for having violated the edicts of Lumen.
Whatever.
But now, with all the skeletons out of the closet, we find ourselves back at the barracks of the Hooded Lanterns, contemplating what to do as half the seals of the small council now rest in enemy hands. 3 more are unaccounted for, as Elias apologizes for errors of the past to you, Georgio, but swears in a very ancient manner to do everything in his power to
Sorry.
to see that you, potentially an heir to the throne, now revealed by not only himself but the Queen of Thieves during this exchange. Rumors fly as this Queen of Thieves potentially could be a forgotten member or a lost member of the former royal family as well. But as you all decompress from the intensity of the day, having tussled with terrifying abominations, rabid wolves in humanoid form, ancient deities below the cathedral, and ancient spirits long since trapped below the city itself. The Lord Commander urges you to take your time to rest and recover. Before a long rest, is there anything you all would like to do? Otherwise, we'll just skip to the following morning. But if there's anything you all would like to say or do before the night comes to a close and you take your long rest.
I don't have, because when we last played, I wasn't on this computer. I don't have any notes. Do you remember exactly, like, kind of how the conversation ended with me and, okay, I'm totally blanking.
Yeah, you punch him in the face.
Well, I punched him in the face when we were still on the thing, and then we left, and then he cut off his finger.
Right.
I remember that. But,
Right.
But Elias Strixel, at the very end, he was like, that was it, right? That was him. He was like, look, I'll do whatever you want. You can kill me right now, but I'll, prove it to you here. At minimum, even if you say nothing, you're taking my finger.
Right.
And was that the end of the conversation, or did we have any more dialogue after that?
No, he had revealed that potentially the enemy that you might be facing is a mage-born member of the royal family. One of two daughters.
Very likely one of my half sister. Yeah, okay.
Potentially.
And that was it, right? Like, so after he cut off his finger, we like split ways because I don't remember. I guess as Giorgio processing that. So I don't know if he has a response or if the conversation went further than that. I just can't remember exactly where we ended.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think last.
If that's what you think and that's what I think, then that's where it's got to be, right? So.
Right. I believe the last thing that Elias had mentioned was that now may be the time to call in some favors with the Amethyst Academy.
Do I have to start attuning to something before the long rest?
Yeah, if you'd like to do that as you take your long rest, it usually takes an hour for you to attune to an item unless it specifically says otherwise.
Yeah, so I'm going to start attuning to Ignatius, I think.
Okay. In your inventory, you should see a segment, a subfolder that says attunement. And once you do that, all the effects of it should come into play.
Right.
You just need to check that box.
Oh, wait, it says... I mustn't have to attune to it.
No, you do have to attune to it. It just may not pop up.
If you have it in your inventory right now, you can go underneath your attack and actually click on the item itself.
Right.
It'll bring up a side panel telling you everything you can do. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of that page, there'll be an attune.
So if you check it, then it's like equipped, air quotes, and so then it'll put it down at the bottom that shows the items acquiring attunement, and then you can put it in.
Okay, I see it now. It all works. Thank you. That was, all good.
And you said we get a long rest?
Yes, if you all would like to take a long rest.
Thank fucking God.
Make any...
Like
for those of you who have prepared spells, if you'd like to swap those out now, feel free to do so. You can... prepared spells, not necessarily select new spells, but ones you already had in your book.
Yeah.
Or... in your case, Cedric, you can swap them out.
It's been so long since we've done a long rest that we need a refresher on how it works.
Yeah.
Yes, regain all your spell slots, health points. Yeah, it should be in the top right of the character sheet.
And just to confirm, just for memory, we found out during all of the spilling of tea and everything that Giorgio does have possibly some sort of claim to the throne or some sort of like direct lineage of sorts.
Potentially.
This is how I remember it. The lady who was possessed in some way by the Queen of Thieves alluded to that, but did not. But the thing I think that she specifically said was, "Do you even know who you are?" Right, which is like, kind of like at that point that I knew what you were saying, but I don't think that it was ever said anything more. I think that was the closest anyone ever said to it until the meeting with Elias Drexel, which I don't think it was just me and him. I think everybody was there for that, right?
Right. She would have said that, but he clarified more.
Without saying it definitively, but was like, your dad was probably the guy,
right?
You know, like that's what everybody thinks, at least, kind of, is what he was saying.
That's what
Um,
he believes may have occurred. He's fairly certain that you have some claim to the throne.
So yeah, sorry. So that's what everybody who would know thinks is the case, right? Because it was a secret to everybody, even me, right? But he's saying that, and he's saying it from a position of authority and competence.
Okay, thank you.
Fun new stuff to think about as Georgio.
Did anybody else have anything they wanted to address before we push forward a little bit?
Last question. We gave over the Von Kessel family phylactery, or we gave over everything else but that? 'Cause in my inventory, I have the Von Kessel family phylactery, and I have 3 unknown phylacteries. I know we gave some of that stuff away, but I
believe you gave back the family phylacteries.
Okay.
You definitely gave back the phylactery of St. Vitruvio and the Stewart seal and the Lord Commander's badge, which Elias had.
Yeah, okay, St. Vitruvio's phylactery, here it is. Okay, so me.
So yeah, Cedric, I did remove that from your inventory. The Stewart seal.
Yeah, okay.
This should be 0. I'm just going to delete it out of there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or you want to change it to just say 3 mysterious phylacteries. Or unknown phylacteries.
Unknown is how it was labeled. I wanted to get the Vitruvio one out of my inventory as well. So that was it.
Right.
It didn't have a quantity, so I just deleted it. Whatever.
Right. That one's a specific named item.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
As you all
I'm good. Yeah.
reflect on the intensity of today's affairs, both physical, mental, and emotional, as you take your rest, having a quiet meal among some of the hooded lanterns, Elias remaining to himself for the time being. A few times you see him that evening addressing members of the hooded lanterns, specifically addressing the possibility that there may be spies yet among the lanterns. But with no certainty in this matter, as you all take your rest. Cedric, who had, I think Cedric and Tim, you both had contamination at the end of the day, correct?
I did, yeah. Sure.
Did
Yeah,
you
'cause
want to address that
We
with
did.
the apothecary, or did you want to hope to not get further contaminated? Because if you continue to maintain that, I'm going to have you roll for to save against it right now. Your choice. There
What
are
was your
benefits. I think Tim, you had the
had the
cycloptic
laser
eye,
eye.
and
Yeah,
then
Cyclops.
Yeah.
you had
That's amazing.
spider crawl, spider climb.
I did have spider climb. I think before we take that long rest, I would probably just go ahead and purge contamination on myself.
Okay. And
No
Tim?
more spider climb.
Oh, I didn't use it to be cool at all.
You used it a couple times briefly.
I don't really don't need it. It's cool. Do I want to keep it? I don't know.
Up to you. There are consequences for maintaining or trying to maintain.
No, it's okay. I'll dump it. It's fine. I have plenty of other shit in my bag. I don't need laser eyes. It's fucking cool for a minute though.
Did you want to try to cast Purge Contamination on your associate, Cedric, or do you want one of the apothecaries to try to take care of it?
So if we did this before the long rest, I would be out of level slots for it.
Ah,
So
okay.
I guess I could cast it
I
at
can go-
4th level if you want
I
that.
can go to the apothecary. It's cool. That's all good.
We have a lot of money.
You all, yeah. They would treat you regardless, given the situation. If you simply present your situation to them. You do gain a level of exhaustion, the both of you, but you would lose it immediately having taken a rest.
Okay.
But again, as you come to terms with the contamination, it's not a pleasant experience as you cough up bile and other contaminated fluids from your bodies as you expel the ill effects of the contamination from delirium. And it is a rather unpleasant means of getting to sleep, but once the hour or so of you wrenching this contaminating liquid from your bodies, having it expelled by the holy magics of the apothecaries as well as your own clerical abilities, Cedric, you do eventually rest your heads in one of the cots, the barracks now below ground outside of the haze, able to take your rest. It is a much needed rest, a long rest for a change. And as the night hours grow long, the moon climbs high into the sky. Most of you rest peacefully. But Cedric, you sleep soundly for a number of hours deep into the night before thoughts begin to materialize in your mind. Old memories of traumatic experiences of the past. Experiences of your younger years. Years before you abandoned your calling to the sacred flame for another. You feel a warm sensation on your face as you stare into a muddy, earthen road. That warm sensation begins to grow into a heat as you feel the intensity of fires all around you. Barely able to dry the tears from your eyes as you look up to the side of your childhood home in flames all around you. As you turn your head just to the right, looking on at your family home just as the main roof beam slowly begins to crackle and collapse into the burning remains of the home. In the distance, you hear the strong sounds of hooves stamping into the dirt and into the mud. You hear the clanking and rumbling of heavy armors and shields. You see the intensity of light burn as streaks of flame are jettisoned from the ends of pointed weapons from riders as they stamp and stampede through the streets, scorching the earth. Any signs of delirium are incinerated on sight. Any individuals found in possession executed on sight. As tears well up in your eyes, you remember as pain of loss is swiftly replaced by thoughts of anger, desire for vengeance, a hatred of what was taken from you under no choice of your own. As your cries echo into the cold night air as the flames begin to die out all around you, the armor-clad horsemen leaving on the horizon into the setting sun. You hear a welcoming voice just over your shoulder. Do you remember this night, child? And as these words whisper into your ears, you find yourself pulled back now into your current adult body as you look down on a childlike form of your own. Beside you, you see a wrinkled husk of a man. A warm smile on his face, but a shabby appearance, wearing rags, white hair, and nothing more about him other than a burlap sort of tunic tied around with a loose rope. But around his neck, you see a holy symbol. A symbol that matches your own that you now carry this day. As he slowly walks around, a gentle smile on his face as he puts a hand on the child's shoulder, but looks up at you as he speaks. Do you remember this night?
Right, that's him actually asking me. Oh, jeez.
He's looking up at you as he asks this question.
Hardly forget the night at all.
Do you remember what you said that night as you turned away from the sacred flame? What you promised to me, what you promised yourself?
Promises that I made, and I've done my best to keep them so far. Dropped it once in the past couple of days.
This newcomer in the world, this light seeks to overshadow the old gods. Seeks to snuff out our influence in the world. It is naive. It does not know pain like you do, child. There is so much in this universe that this newcomer does not see, does not know. The world must not cast its gaze away from the old guard. The old gods. We were here eons before its birth, and we will be here eons after that light extinguishes from the world. You still seek to rekindle our power, our influence in the world, child?
I think we keep those that have come to power away. take away anything that they've tried to gain from the hurt of others.
There are significant things in motion. Wheels of fate turn for two individuals of significance in this city. There will come a time when you may choose to support, and another you may choose to condemn. Are you prepared to make a choice, child?
There's a choice for the past several decades at this point. Another few to follow.
Remember the heat of this evening, child. Remember what drives you. What pushes you to go on. That will protects you. Fuels you. We will speak again in due time. Until then, walk with my blessing. May it protect you until that time comes. And as that voice begins to echo off, you watch as this scene begins to dim into a colorless dreamscape of black and white until memory fades into utter blackness. You wake up in a cold sweat in the early morning hours. You hear members of the Hooded Lanterns beginning to begin their training regiments, their preparations for the day. Unsure whether the dream was the cause of your abrupt awakening, or perhaps simply an after effect of the contamination leaving your body. But you feel driven as you wake, as you innately feel something new protecting you, pushing out the remnants of the contamination from your body. Something that will aid you in the coming days. Mechanically speaking, you should see among the new spells that you have, Cedric, under 5th level, there is a spell there called, I believe it's Neutralizing Field.
One that should be prepared already?
That you can prepare if you'd like.
Oh, got it, okay. I'll take a look.
Yeah. I'll leave you to decide whether or not you use it, or... Yeah, I believe it's Neutralizing Field. Let me double check.
That's a spell, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That is a campaign-specific spell. The rest of you take your time in waking. Some of you beginning to overcome the ill effects of the delirium contamination. Others pondering the events of the prior day and what is to come. It is approximately 9 or 10 in the morning when you all begin to convene in the outer portions of the barracks, what would you like to do?
I think Georgio would be kind of still doing a lot of reflection on the new things that he's learned, and so he would be like way more than normal, just like kind of going with the flow, being really passive, at least through the morning. So just what, you know, if anybody's going anywhere, like as a group, quietly just tag along.
Did I do the apothecary thing before the long rest, or would it be like this morning?
You would have done it before the long rest, otherwise you would wake with exhaustion. Because when you purge contamination, it leaves you with an equal level of exhaustion.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll tag along with Georgio then.
Yeah, you wouldn't have any ill effects now, as you did take a long rest. Chugrulk?
Yeah, I think I'd probably just float along with the crowd at this stage.
Cedric?
Sorry, I'm just following.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good. Is it? Oh, you're just falling?
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
We're all kind of just
What all is going on?
As you... Oh, go ahead.
This is what I was doing, because I mean, we just won the church, but then, you know, like all this stuff is going on, so I'm sure the Hooded Lanterns are up to something, you know, but they may be bustling around.
You notice that in this early hour, even now, despite it was a mixture the night before, some individuals celebrating the events of capturing the temple gate, others bewildered by the events if they were there to witness those that occurred in the cathedral. Some are just now learning of what transpired. You see the Lord Commander is a mixture of emotions. For his men and women, he carries a stern face, not wanting to allow his emotional state to influence them as he shouts out commands to the various regiments moving back and forth through the barracks. But also you see he's becoming acutely aware of certain individuals coming and going, asking certain individuals here within the barracks to maintain a close eye on the comings and goings of the various scout groups to and from the barracks. And you, Giorgio, with your passive insight would know, and your passive understanding, that there's a look of concern that there may be a wolf among sheep's clothing here within the barracks.
I'm curious, is he wearing gloves? Is he doing anything to hide the fact that he is missing one of his fingers?
Yes, you see that he's wearing leather gloves right now. Okay. Leather archery gloves, and ones that you've seen him wear previously. You don't really tell that one of the fingers is perhaps missing. Perhaps he's put something solid in the remainder of the finger, or you're not quite certain. He stands at attention and forthright as he shouts commands to the various groups, the leading individuals, inspecting some of those returning from their nightly scout missions, asking very poignant, specific questions that these individuals should know of not only their comrades, but themselves. As you all begin to take your time adjusting to the morning atmosphere, He spots you from afar, Giorgio, but does not immediately approach, seeing to his command duties first and foremost. But you do see him give a subtle cue to one of the officers coming out of the dining hall as you all are having a bit of breakfast. A very modest meal, but a much needed one after such an extended trial the day before. And as you exit the mess hall, you see this individual run just outside the gate as he shouts to two individuals just outside the gate. Briefly after which you see a purple-robed tiefling woman accompanied by a dark-skinned man wearing similar robes walking back into the barracks. As they follow the officer, not towards you all at first, but to Lord Elias, as he speaks softly to them. And you see River kind of give you a short glance, Giorgio, in doing so, but it's briefly after this brief exchange, you see Eldrick and River begin to approach you all. Morning to you all. Or did you sleep?
Pretty restless night.
Imagine it was quite a stressful day for all. That being said, Elias has asked me to have a look at that ring you have on your person, Giorgio.
Okay, I'll hand it over.
You hand over the ring of the Holy Brazier. I knew that was coming. No doubt where this voice is coming from. As he looks it over, and you begin to spot, he takes out a small device and begins to wave his hand over it as he turns his hands over, sort of palm to palm as he stretches them out, the ring laying gently in his palm, as you see these arcane runes begin to circle the outside. Tim, you would recognize this as a ritual casting as he takes several minutes to do so as he ritually casts Identify on the object.
That's neat.
Looking at it much closer, looking for something very specific beyond what you were already aware of, Giorgio. Its effects very clear, Tim, as you see the runes begin to twist and turn and spell out very specific sequences. You recognize the effects of this ring that Giorgio was already given when he received the ring, the radiant energies that it would release in various charges. But what you see now as he begins to press his will down upon the ring, you see another series of runes begin to raise up from the interior of the ring. One specifically, you see a glyph that is slowly pressed down before he drags his fingertips into the center of the ring as he proceeds to try to draw it out. This particular rune, as you see the etching just faintly in the metal begin to glow and heat and spark as he does so, as you see this glyph ripped slowly from the object. One that, although esoteric and old in your understanding, Tim, you do recognize as a glyph of scrying.
Is any of this process something that I would recognize that's going on, or would I be completely clueless?
Nope.
Okay.
As somebody who's not studied magic, are you proficient in Arcana?
No.
then yeah, you have no idea. This just looks like
Yeah,
a crazy ass light show.
Yeah, I've been watching very intently. I want to make sure that if there was any part that I understood, that I would understand it. But
Right.
I adjust my monocle. I'm like,
You see that one particular rune, this soft pinkish color as it is drug out from the object. And as he wraps his hand around the ring and draws out this glyph into the middle of the air, reaches his hand over and drags it as you watch as it just disintegrates into sparks into the ether. We need to make sure this Queen of Thieves is no longer tracking you. If you don't mind, I'd like to examine all of you to make sure similar items of divination aren't present, if you don't mind. For all our sakes. As he slowly returns the ring to you, Georgio.
I have another ring of protection that I actually don't remember where we got it from. We got it very early. But...
You received that from River.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, she watches
I'll hand
you.
it over anyway, because I think that's a fun thing.
She kind of smiles at you. As much as I like you, Georgio, and I have come to admire your courage, I don't believe I want to know your every waking move. But you do watch. Do you all submit to the examination?
I also have 2 hand axes that we had. That guy put the meteorite on.
Yes. Yeah.
So those are 2 things. I'm looking at the things that I have and thinking of the things that are mine that were not in my possession for any amount of time.
Mm-hmm. I can see you're a bit concerned. Understood. Just, I ask that you permit me to examine you all about any type of divination magic. Any type of observation, if you will. And he does a similar motion, but on a much grander scale, as this previous motion of the hands is now extended out into an almost arm-like Doctor Strange, full body motion in front of each of you. As he proceeds to look for any type of sources of observation from afar. I'm a bit perplexed. It's, the Academy has noticed that while in the haze, the use of scrying and teleportation and other similar forms of divination magic are ineffective, but my best guess is that the moment you exited these areas of contamination, this Queen of Thieves was able to pinpoint you via this ring for some time. Hence how she's been able to track your whereabouts, Giorgio, as well as the whereabouts of your small contingent of travelers. That being said, I don't sense any further means of scrying among you all. And he does return the ring to you as well. -1 glyph of scrying. The Lord Commander Elias Drexel also asked that perhaps we have a conversation about these seals of the city. As of yesterday, you all were in possession of several seals of Drakenheim. Those are now in the possession of this Queen of Thieves. Powerful individual, to say the least. I assume, based on what we observed, that they perhaps have had formal training at some point as a member of the Academy. That being said, not all members of the Academy are still mages of the Academy. There are a number of malfeasant wizards and sorcerers among the ruins of the city and other parts of the continent. Although I believe you all were also in possession of something that had descriptions of the city's former small council, is that correct? Documentation pulled from the catacombs?
Yes.
Aye.
And I believe we still have that. I would look at him.
I believe that was taken by the Queen.
What was the item?
It was a inventory
card.
list. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was part of the document. She snapped that. She said,
snatched that.
yeah, she's like, give me that. She she only let us keep the platinum. She was just like, I'll do you a favor. I'm like, oh, you know.
Air quotes favor, yeah.
Thanks.
You
Favor.
fucking pissed at us about this.
She, if you remember, she did take anything to do with the seals of the city. Either the seals themselves or any documentation in regards to the seals. As well as the known phylacteries of the royal family and the will and testament of Lord Ulrich von Kessel IV. But she did leave you with the 3 unmarked phylacteries as well as the platinum. As well as, Tim, the much older document, a contract between the Amethyst Academy and the royal family of Drakenheim. Document, at this point, almost 100 years old in its signing date, but yet to be transacted. As you know, such documents, transactions with the Academy, upon completion, are destroyed as proof of their completion. It's concerning that this unknown entity is cavorting about the city and looking for the seals. Individually, they are items of great worth. Together, they are of even greater importance. What do you know of the small council? And as he says this, you hear Elias step forward. He might not know the full details of the small council and its significance with the city, but at this point, I think time for secrecy and hidden truce is about over.
Yeah.
Giorgio, the small council is paramount to the coronation of a new monarch. I don't know if I was quite clear, but without all the seals of the city, we cannot crown a new ruler. 6 seals, 6 individuals chosen by the new monarch. present at the time when the new king is crowned. Yes, and by crowned, we mean attuned to the crown of the city. Powerful relic in and of itself.
Is that commonly known? That the crown itself is magical and kind of denotes the king?
Go ahead and give me a history check. This is going to be a real high DC, though.
I got a 14 and 2, so 16.
16.
Nailed it.
You know of the crown. You've seen it on the head of the ruler. You know it carries a significance, as does any crown, any symbol of the monarchy, but you're not aware of any magical significance up until now.
Okay, yeah, because like up until literally that sentence, I'm thinking like, what's it matter? Like the government is gone, right? Like the monarchy is dead. Like, you know, if you get these 6 random dudes that each one holds a seal, like, yeah, okay, but who cares? You know, like, why didn't somebody just say, well, I'm the king now, what are you gonna do about it? But, you know, that does make sense if there's if this is an entire ritual that is necessary to attune to the crown that gives you, I guess, the power of the city itself, which I'm sure has magic baked into it, you know. I don't know, I'm just only speculating now, but that...
You're more right than you realize, Georgio. The city itself, its defenses, the walls themselves, the castle, all littered with arcane wards, powerful ancient magics. Each individual member of the council that these seals were first created by the Academy. Each major political power, Illyria, Caspia, and of course Westmar, have a similar system. A series of checks and balances before a new king or queen can be crowned. The crowns themselves are even more significant. They have an ancient power attached to them. I don't know the specifics myself. I'm still in the process of learning the full details, but from what I've seen of the ancient documents in our libraries, perhaps there's even more within the Academy Tower here in the city. Drastic effects could be had by whoever tunes to this crown.
So we need him back.
We know that because every time a new ruler takes seat in any of the major cities, it's generally followed by significant historical events, some making more sense than others. Say the least, if someone like this Queen of Thieves were to obtain this crown, there could be drastic, dire effects.
Let's kill her.
Perhaps easier said than done, but not objected.
Yeah.
Not objected entirely. But to find and dethrone this so-called queen is maybe harder than we all think.
I don't think it's gonna be hard to find her. we were gonna go see her in like 2 days.
Yes, and when you do that, perhaps we could have something to level the playing field a bit. There's one of the 6 seals that we are acutely aware of. that no document need be obtained to know exactly where it is. And then you see, as Eldrick and River look to you, Tim.
Look at Tim too.
Tim, I know you've been there at least once. Perhaps not in a long while. Not in this form, but
At least once.
we know that the staff of the Amethyst Academy, the inscrutable staff, now rests somewhere in the remains of the tower here in the city. If we can obtain that staff and re-establish teleportation to and from the inscrutable tower, that would be a significant boon to not only the city, but the academy as well. 2 birds, 1 stone. But we've tried many times to reclaim the tower. It's perhaps one of the most dangerous places here in Drakenheim, aside from perhaps the castle.
Dangerous because of the contamination or because of the people who've taken over there?
Yes.
Or just the things that have taken over there?
Yes.
Okay.
And then potentially that and more. And he looks towards the tower, which is looming high above, even the topmost point of the inscrutable tower, even higher than the highest point of the castle itself, looming like this obelisk high in the sky of the city. You see arcs of arcane energy. What in the world?
I misclicked. If you're looking at the rolls.
I was just wondering why everything was suddenly rolling. Spooky ghost. As soon as I mentioned the demon tower, the fucking what in the world?
He's going off.
Doing flips.
That's so funny.
Page, I guess.
That's funny. I feel like every time I see tower, it starts to roll again.
Some decent rolls here. I mean,
It's a
23.
prank
Yeah,
on
no
every time
kidding.
in the tower.
Yeah,
23,
anyway,
23. Yeah, I don't think it had any, except for 1. Everything was above a 10.
Yeah,
you're
I
wasting
really-
Burned all them good rolls.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm rolling real dice. Like,
There we go.
Doing
But,
flips.
so yeah, I have no idea what the hell happened. I refreshed the page. It looks like it stopped, so we're good, I guess.
Cool. Long story short, I think now might be the best time to try to reclaim the tower and the staff that controls it. Without that staff, this Queen of Thieves cannot hope to secure whatever ill-fated plans they wish. We'll have a last piece of the puzzle. No doubt she knows this as well.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like she made it very clear that she intends to meet with us again. We were going to be over there. I can't remember. Me out of character. I can't remember how many days it was, but that we had between.
At this point, after
I think we're 1 day away now from the.
it was more than a week.
It
It
was
was
more than a week.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
So-
when you
so-
met with Christian,
Yes.
it was a couple weeks from then, and it's been almost 1 week now, or about
Okay.
4 or 5 days now. So the better part of a week
Okay.
from that point.
Yeah. So whatever the timing is, it's very clearly she made it obvious that she wanted to meet with us again. We were gonna be going back over there to meet with someone who I thought was going to introduce us to people that knew her, kind of thing. Like, this is all something that is kind of been in the works and expedited now because she's revealed here that she knows who we are and that she wants to meet with us, whatever. If she's aware that the staff is the missing is very important and would be very helpful, would it not be almost smarter to show up without that at all, so that there is no chance that we lose it? The last time we encountered her, we lost 3. We went 3 for 3 on losing them. You know,
Now, Giorgio, pardon my interruption, but
yeah.
The other 2 remaining seals, the Spymaster Signet ring and the seal of the Chancellor, the head of state, if you will, or the ambassador of relations between various political powers of the continent here in the city. Both those items are lost, as far as we know, without that document.
Okay, and so, hypothetical, what if she's got them? What if she's got 5 of 5, and this is the last one, and we bring it to, air quotes, level the playing field, and she gets it? Like, what's...
Well, if that was the case, she wouldn't have taken the document. She wouldn't have needed it if she already had all the pieces of the puzzle.
Okay.
The only sure bet we have right now is, as Eldrick says, the inscrutable staff. And no doubt, the cunning of this individual, they know this as well. No doubt they have all the time in the world to search for the other 2 items, unmolested by any efforts we might make as we search in the dark. The staff, well, that's a different story. And, regardless of the staff, we don't have the manpower right now, as we're fighting a war on 2 fronts. As my scouts have told me that the Silver Order's already begun to fortify the gate, as well as the cathedral. We simply don't have the forces we need to fight on both fronts at this time. We need to choose our alliances carefully. And he looks to you, Tim, Elias. That there document that you had, son, that contract between the Academy and the royal family. At the time of acquisition, the time of contracting, I'm sure this tower was in much better shape than it is now. But I'd like to call in that favor. And as he's saying that, Eldrick kind of steps forward again. Now, hold on, Lord Commander. This contract is what you speak of, the confirmation of royal lineage. We simply don't have the means to do so at this time. All that knowledge, all that spellcraft was lost when the tower was crushed by the falling meteor. Vast amounts, millennia worth of knowledge trapped in that tower. I'd love to do everything I can, but we simply can't honor that at this time. That being said, the Academy has vast resources throughout the continent, in various major cities, including Illyria, Caspia, the Free Cities. we could rally those individuals here via teleportation, we'd be in much better situations to honor said contract. But as of right now, there's just nothing we can do about it. Cedric and Chugrulk, while this conversation is going down, what are you all thinking?
I mean, I'm still passively, like, you know, a little bit concerned about this whole outing of my status. Frazzled. I'm still feeling out the room to see how everyone's reacting. But yeah, no, I'm still just kind of you know, just trying to maintain my my spot in the group, I guess. You know, still knowing that I need everyone, and you know, hoping that still well needed within the group. But yeah, just kind of just getting my stuff together, trying to keep my head with this dang sword that's still lingering around. You know, pestering me, reminding me that you know, any lie will be accounted for.
You sense now the Ignatius has been rather quiet since you woke up. And you're in the presence of these individuals. Although not everyone has revealed all their cards at this time, no one has outwardly been lying directly around you. Not like the previous day where Ignatius was loud and clear in your mind quite frequently.
Getting myself back, you know, getting my composure. Headaches have rested.
Elias. If this individual is classically trained or a former defunct member of the Academy, they know as well as we do the wealth of arcana that is trapped in that tower. Given their resourcefulness up until now, no doubt they know that we know it's the only known quantity on the board, so to speak. Go
I
ahead.
want to do an insight check or something along those lines. Does he know, what's his name? The wizard guy.
Eldrick?
Eldrick. Does Eldrick, he keeps saying we're pretty sure that this is someone who's been classically trained based on, I'm assuming based on what he's seen, right? Like, you're not
Sure.
that powerful of a spellcaster unless you are classically trained. So he's saying this stuff. Does he have any idea who the Queen of Thieves probably is? Like, because...
Do you ask him that directly, or?
No. I want to do this. I just want to do an insight check because the way he's talking about it, he's not revealing that. It sounds like he doesn't know that all he's working on is, hey, this is just some really powerful spellcaster who was in this.
Right. You don't
but
need.
Elias Drexel
yeah.
is pretty sure was almost 100% certain, so much so that he brought out a picture of the royal family to say, I'm pretty sure it's her.
Elias has his theories. Eldrick is just confirming that given the items, there's no need to roll on this. It's pretty obvious what he's stating, that this individual knows powerful magic. Powerful magic that an amateur would not be able to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So when he says classically trained, he means trained in the literal sense of the word. The only source of training that you all are aware of on the continent or mage-born individuals would be the Amethyst Academy.
So he's making it clear he thinks that this person was trained in the Amethyst Academy. But what I'm curious is, does he have any idea that it may be a member of the royal family? Is that the only logical conclusion from this? Or because I'm sure there's many people who went to the Amethyst Academy and were classically trained. I'm sure it's not a huge list of people, but I mean,
go ahead and give me you can give me an insight check.
That's what I
yeah,
wanted.
you can give me an
Does he
insight
have any
check.
idea if
It's not a super difficult,
11,
DC.
11 and 6, so a 17 on insight.
With a 17, he doesn't seem to show that, that this individual, he's not hinting in his words that this individual is in some way connected like Elias is hinting.
Okay. All right.
Per the conversations the previous day and what Elias discussed with you, his theories are stemming from other things that were said, not necessarily the spellcraft that was on display the previous day. All Eldrick is getting at is that the spellcraft is reminiscent of somebody who has been trained.
Yeah.
That what they displayed the previous day was powerful magic that an amateur would not be able to learn on their own.
Yeah. Just to give you more insight into what the angle I'm coming at this from, Giorgio is very mad about the hypocrisy and the audacity that Elias Drexel would walk up and say, "Hey, now is not the time to keep any secrets, guys," right? And so when Eldrick is trying to deduce, go through reasoning and try to figure out who we're dealing with, what we might be doing, I'm waiting to see if Elias says, "Hey, just so you know, I'm pretty sure this is the daughter of the king." That's what I'm waiting on.
With that insight check that you rolled already, you can tell that Elias is keeping certain things close to the chest.
Yeah.
That one item in particular.
Yeah.
But he's uncertain based on what you read whether or not Eldrick knows this or not. But with that roll, you really don't get the hint that Eldrick's getting at that particularly. He's just saying that this individual is powerful because they have training.
Yeah. So exactly what.
This is like the difference between a home electrician and somebody who's got a master's degree in electrical engineering.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, carry on. So I didn't.
No. It's a good question. I'm glad you asked and brought it up.
Because I want to make sure that I'm justifiably very mad as Giorgio, and I am. So.
That's simply my opinion on the subject. I'm urging a bit of caution, given the circumstances that we saw. This individual was extremely capable. He knew a great deal about everyone present. They knew what they wanted, when they wanted it, and how to get it. If we treat this matter like a strategic match of wits, we limit the unknown things that we can't control. And Tim, as you hear this, you kind of get the gist of some of the discussions, the trainings that you've had in the arcane arts. That he's treating this matter as the same way he would approach an unknown bit of magic in his discussion of the matter. It's better to proceed with the methodology that we can control. Eliminate variables as we proceed in understanding and what we cannot, and try to minimize what we cannot understand. It sounds like you're already prepared to go and confront this Queen of Thieves, but do you know where they are exactly?
Not a clue.
We have an idea of where we could go to meet with them, but
So we're walking into their territory,
oh, absolutely
under their
and-
terms.
And also, we are walking into it where when we get there, they will then dictate to us the terms on where to find them after that. So it's like, it's not even like, hey, we're going to go meet them there. It's like, we're going to show up here and then wait around until somebody says, hey, you're looking for this person, right? Come on. Right? Like, that's where we're at. It's not great. But absolutely, we will meet with them whenever we want to. That much I'm confident.
We know that this Queen of Thieves is after these seals of the city. We know that they have at least 3 that you formerly had in your possession. We know of one of the remaining 3 seals trapped somewhere within the tower. 2 more that are a complete mystery.
And I don't think we had enough time to read those documents to have any idea of even what they hint at. Unless, Tim, you did some speed reading when you were holding it.
I speed ran putting him in the bag. That's about it.
Yeah.
Oh. We have a few potential methods that we can pursue. You can immediately go and attempt to confront this Queen of Thieves, potentially walking into yet another one of their traps under their terms and their turf. Or we can potentially attempt to secure one of the remaining seals and have them meet under our terms. The Academy is willing and able to support anything that would allow us to re-secure the tower. That is our ultimate goal here within Drakenheim. As Tim is very much aware. We'd be happy to work alongside, adding any aid we can in this measure. Then, at such time that the tower is secured, we can, as he turns to look at Elias, attempt to honor the contract in question as well. Identifying any potential heirs to the city, to the kingdom. Is that a potentially amenable agreement among these present parties?
Yeah, sure.
I would say so.
It's your city.
Oh no. We claim no political ties, as does the Edicts of Lumen state as well. That is not a line we intend to cross. Mind you, it's a... no. Although we, and the Church, and the Monarchy, often bend the rulings set forth in the Edicts of Lumen, sometimes crossing carefully without going too far, to break into outright control of the city would be tantamount to violating one of the earliest sermons of that agreement. We are not willing or prepared to do any such thing. The Academy, first and foremost, is here to aid and protect mage-born individuals here on the continent, and aid in any discoveries that would help the whole of mankind. We share as much as we can of our knowledge willingly among all present parties.
I'm looking straight at Elias when he says that.
And Elias looks at you. We appreciate your honesty, sir. Something I can personally learn from. So, if that's the case, we can secure the seal supposedly trapped within the tower and secure the tower itself. Would we have the support of the Amethyst Academy against this so-called Queen of Thieves? Tentatively. I'm not a member of the Academy Directorate, so I cannot speak on total behalf of everyone involved, but tentatively, I believe that is in everyone's best interests. So, at this time, we'd like to offer as many of our services as we can, and although we cannot reduce the price of any said services, we can certainly offer a bulk discount for said services and access to experimental items that the Academy's been working on recently. You look over as River kind of nods and agrees tentatively. Very well. And Elias kind of nods and looks at you, Giorgio. I understand I haven't been honest with you, son. But from hell or high water, done lying. Gotten me nowhere thus far, other to end a conflict, step into another. But this time, I'd like to state that if you don't feel comfortable with me continuing to lead the Hooded Lanterns, I would be happy to concede control to another, as a show of good faith. But I'd like to ask to continue working alongside you, as well as those soldiers I've fought with day in and day out for the last 10 years.
Instead of responding to that, I think Giorgio will look at Eldrick and say, Eldrick, do you think it would be helpful to know more information about who the person is that we are trying to find?
Of course. The more we know of our adversary, the more prepared we can be.
I think so too.
I'm sure
Elias, what do you think about this?
I'm sure you're hinting at whom this Queen of Thieves could be.
Uh-huh.
Eldrick, when was the last time you saw 2 female daughters of the Von Kessels. Years now. Why? Well, might have reason to believe that our so-called Queen of Thieves might be one of the daughters to the Von Kessels. Hey, that would be
Would explain a lot, huh?
problematic, is what I was going to say.
Hmm.
Both were indeed trained at the academy, and capable, to say the least. Eliza was a gifted evoker, and in addition, quite gifted with portent-like abilities. And her older sister was also quite gifted in the illusory arts and various methods of abjuration. But they left the academy shortly after the city fell into ruin, saying they were going to return to the city. They were dropped off here, in fact, in a temporary attempt, the original attempt to re-secure the tower after the impact. They were sent among a contingent of guards here at the Amethyst Academy, although they are first and foremost members of the Academy before royals. They do have some semblance of protection, but neither can hold royal title per the Edicts of Lumen. As they are mageborn, it would be a direct conflict between the two parties. But that whole group was massacred by either the haze, the contamination, or creatures that had risen up from the combination of the two. We lost all contact with them shortly thereafter. We aren't certain of what occurred. There was no bodies ever found of that entire group. So, this time we simply don't have confirmation one way or the other. But I'm not doubting that potentially either one could be this Queen of Thieves. They certainly had the aptitude. And Tim, you would briefly remember, not necessarily the name Katarina, but you do remember the name Eliza. You recognize the younger daughter that they're mentioning of the royal family of the Von Kessels, having crossed paths, at least, at some point in your studies years and years ago, before becoming a full-fledged member of the Academy. But nothing more than that. You simply remember that they were the time you encountered them, they were still in their studies, probably in their mid-teens. But as Eldrick describes, a quite capable wizard in and of their own right. Well, and Elias looks to you, Giorgio. What do you need?
I don't know yet. A plan, I guess.
Well, let's take some time to hash it out then. Eldrick, River, if you want to speak with these gentlemen about possibly getting them prepared for what may occur within the tower, what they can expect, I'll begin the process of scouting out ahead, perhaps being able to tell what's going on here. And I still am in the process of rooting out any potential spies that might have infiltrated our ranks. And with that, he nods to you all, allowing for you to have some time to discuss among yourselves. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna turn to Georgio since we're all there, and just ask if he can help me with something. I just need someone real quick back at where we slept. I have a quick question and just a little bit of clarity on something.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm gonna do this away from the group.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll follow to wherever.
Once we get to a semi-secluded space, I'm just gonna, put both my hands on his shoulder, and since we're both very tall, we're still looking eye to eye.
You're both about 7 feet plus.
Because we're
tall,
both literally giants.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna just tell him, you do realize that everything in this area has been messed up for some time, and really the only hope that they have is that they may have now found someone that has rightful heir to the throne, which is you.
Yeah, it is absolutely bewildering to think about. And so I'm trying not to, well, to be honest.
Need to think about it, because regardless of what is happening, regardless of who has all of the phylacteries, all the ancient staves, and swords, and shields, and whatever else, who could have rightful heir to the throne and finally bring this place back to where it needed to be several years ago, before the fall, before the crater, before destruction, and bring order back, and by all accounts, you're the only one that could possibly have this. So for everyone's sake, for our sake, for the four of us, for everyone else back in that tower, you need to go ahead and stop thinking so much about possibilities and start acting with intent to try to do whatever you can, get everything needed to get back to that throne and reclaim your lineage. It is the only hope for this entire city. I'm just gonna pat you on the back and just say, dwell on that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and walk away.
Motherfucker.
Nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if you're walking away, you're walking away. That's it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll follow back to the group.
Well, that little conversation was going on. Chugrulk and Tim, what are you both doing?
I will to go check out that sweet experimental stuff that they talked about, if I can.
River catches your enthusiasm as your your two Goliath companions kind of step away for a moment. As you kind of eye her and kind of give a childish grin of excitement. Tim, Eldrick wanted me to give you something first and foremost. Or at least offer you something. We can't make you a full, reinstated member of the Academy as of right now. But we can certainly get you started. And she reaches into her bag, her arm going far deeper into the bag than volumetrically would be possible. She reaches down and grabs something. It looks like a sort of a flat-topped band with two sort of rings, and she has a pair of them. In total, they'll act as a singular item, but you recognize these rings, Tim. All Academy mages, given their standing, given their standing within the Academy, have these rings. And their standing within the Academy is dictated by the number of said rings, each one sort of reflecting the capability of said spellcaster. And they range anywhere from 1 to 9, given the capability of spellcraft. Those having one ring being introductory, first time, early members in their academic journeys within the Academy. Those wielding 9 rings, like Eldrick in front of you, being the most seasoned of mages within the Academy, representing the ability to mechanically cast up to 9th level spells. River sets a pair of these rings, but they essentially have 4 rings in total, or 4 fingers, if you will. But they have a pair of bands that connect into 2 pairs, if you will. I'm sure you've seen these before, Tim. Mages are not always capable of casting as many spells as they'd like in a certain day. Some days we need more of that ability, some days we need less. On those days where less is more, we don't want to abandon the potential of learning or using said spellcraft, so these will help you store a bit of that ability for later use. And if you need so, we can certainly, either myself or Eldrick, while we're present, can, for a small nominal fee, can certainly cast some of our magic into these rings as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be just you. But if you're interested, the pair I can offer to you for 600 gold. Mechanically speaking, above the table, these are rings of spell storing with up to 4 charges in them, meaning up to 4. You could have 4 level 1 spells or 1 level 4 spell, or any combination that meets 4 for the time being, representing your ability to cast up to level 4 spells at current. And Tim, I will say this. You're going into a extremely dangerous place. I wouldn't recommend on trying to take anything with you to the afterlife if things go awry. Money, of course, is great and all, but I tend to like to be alive a little bit more to use it.
Don't we all? If you were to imbue some of your power into this, how much are we talking?
Well, level 1 spells are traditionally 50 gold apiece for each spell, and are 50 gold or more for level 2, so on and so forth, per spell. But depending on the number requested, and as Eldrick alluded to earlier, we can certainly strike up a bulk discount, if you will, for you and your companions. We have, and she pulls out a number of less intricate looking rings that are not as well made. There's only like, she pulls out, hold on one moment. Random numbers here. She pulls out 4 more individual rings, representing 4 more potential slots of storing for your companions. But these, for all rings, the ones for yourself as well as your companions, if they are so interested in a bit of spell storing, I would offer you all of them plus, let's say, up to 6 spells for 1,200 gold.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a variety of potions. I can tell you right now, the Inscrutable Tower, despite its outward size, is far more dense than you could ever imagine. The space within does not conform to conventional laws of reality. So, a bit of extra mobility doesn't go unwarranted. And of course, a bit of extra protection is always a must in such situations. You want my professional opinion?
Okay. I'll talk to the group. I forgot to put my voice changer back
It's
on.
okay.
Right.
I'll talk to the group and see what they want to do with the rings. But what potions do you have?
She pulls out a list, basically a variety of uncommon as well as some rare potions. She has a variety of potions of flying, featherfall, potions of haste, as well as a plethora of regular, greater, and what's the next one up? Regular, greater, and
Superior.
superior. Thank you. Superior healing potions. The regular healing potions are 35 gold apiece. The greater are 70, and the superior are 150.
And how much is it for the haste?
The potion of haste is 225. The potions of flying are she has 3 of them. If you were to buy all 3, they would be 500. I'm sorry, 4 of them for 500. As you know, and I'm sure you remember, a little bit of concentration-free flight for a short period of time doesn't go unwarranted. You never know what might, lunge out at you from unexpected locations, so a bit of added security that you're not going to plummet to your death is always a good thing.
Fair.
But take some time to think about it, discuss it with your companions, and see what they're interested in. We also have some other items I need to gather up from Eldrick. He's waiting on a shipment back from our mutual friend, what was his name? The local blacksmith from Emberwood Village has been working alongside us in creation of some new arcane-charged items using delirium that you might be interested in.
Okay.
But no rush. We'll be here for another few days. Chugrulk, as this is going on, you sit and waiting as you think about what was revealed during the previous days. Intense conversations within the cathedral. A unwanted shadow looms high in your mind. The revelation that you are still a wanted man in certain parts of this world. Especially a wanted man with such a substantial bounty over your head. As you feel a bit of anxiety being out in the open in an area where wealth and resources are not as abundant as you may think. But as you sit and you contemplate, you sit at one of the benches, your hands rested patiently over the sheathed sword, Ignatius, the sword of burning truth. You feel gentle warmth below your hands. What is going through your mind at this time?
I mean, I'm feeling like I was alluding to before. I've got this soft burning of contemplation, I guess, for not being entirely truthful. Still not, outward lying, but yeah, not coming completely clean as this knowledge has become, in the open. So it's, I guess, leaning more into this feeling of, unease. But I think like I'm feeling a lot more pressure in myself at the moment to try and find ways of sourcing some money to write in my mind what is owed, so I can kind of ease the burden. But not really seeing many I guess outward opportunities is my upsetting truth. And I guess the thing that's kind of burdening me the most at the moment is, you know, there's not really anywhere for me to, you know, make any ventures into gaining some gold, which is my big play. So yeah, this is I guess my feeling at the moment. Me between me and the sword. You know, I'm feeling a little bit of pressure to kind of, you know, I guess be more honest about things like you know, my money owed, but at the same time I'm trying to justify it by you know, coming up with, you know, like I'm working on righting that wrong in myself. That's where I'm at the moment, I guess.
As you say this, and as these thoughts percolate in your mind, you feel the gentle tap of a younger hooded lantern on your shoulder. They're probably in their late teens, dirty brown, blondish hair, kind of tied back into a short ponytail, wearing kind of ragtag leathers, things pieced together, but the similar not emerald green, but forest green cloak of the hooded lanterns. As he taps your shoulder, he looks over. Sir, are you the Chugrulk who fought in the war?
I look
Is this
a
you?
little bit.
And he pulls up a wanted poster with your face. It's a bit older now. You have a bit more hair, and facial hair extending down now, and a bit more, you know, a bit more seasoned at this point. But you know, a competent person could put two and two together. I'm not judging. I'm just curious. My father fought in the Civil War, and he told stories of an individual that fought in Geldstadt.
I look, take a knee, I guess, and speak quietly to the boy, and say that, you know, yes, it's me, but I try not to speak of those times.
Well, just so you know, that the Duke of Geldstadt is, well, they're let's just say they're still not real well liked in these parts. I understand you have a bounty on your head, and I wouldn't dream of trying to fight you for it. You know, you'd probably turn me over, you know, in no time flat. But my father, he told me stories of an individual, a band of mercenaries during the war. We was fighting for the, or he was fighting for the other side, and well, they were ordered to secure the dams there in Geldstadt, and well, yeah, the Duke of the city at the time, he well, my father was fighting for the Duke, and well, he's not with us anymore. Duke ordered the dams be ruptured to try to wash away the opposing forces all in one swoop. It was not well liked at the time. It's still not well when people talk about it. Well, to wash away one's own people with the opposing factions is well, it was a dirty move, even by military standards. I was told that there was a band of mercenaries and that when this all went down, when the dams were ruptured, that these mercenaries didn't care, that they were helping everyone regardless of where they stood on the side of the battle. I just want to say thank you. My father wasn't so lucky, but my mum, she was part of that group that made it out because of what y'all did.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know. You know, I hadn't heard any positive stories.
There weren't many positive stories that time. I was still a bun in the oven at the time. From what she told me was, brother, sister, fathers and sons all split on lines depending on where we lived. And who we claim fealty to. But, yeah, nonetheless said, I think at this time everyone kind of agrees that what happened that day was wrong regardless. I just wanted to say thank you. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for your band. So, thanks. And you see him take the wanted poster and crumple it up and throw it into the fire.
Is it the only wholesome thing to ever happen in fucking city?
I was about to say, like, that took me by surprise. That's not where I expected that going.
You, Chugrulk, recall when you first discovered you had a bounty on your head. It was a bit shocking. You've been a mercenary for a number of years since having left Caspia. More so at the time when you first began, the sellsword lifestyle it was simply the money wasn't even that important. It was more so the fame and recognition that you sought outside your home, a more worldly recognition. So to discover that now money had become a major issue, as it now loomed large over your very existence, as you traveled through the various portions of the continent. This is the first time that you've heard the other side of this incident, recalling the Battle of Geldstadt, the time where the Duke of Geldstadt intentionally ruptured the dam holding the waters of the river, the same river that runs through Drakenheim, holding that river at bay, and a source of trade in that area. This is the first time you recall that incident in a different light, as it at the time was simply just a catastrophe, if anything else. You didn't even really know what had caused it up until several months later, when the stories of the murderous Duke washing away his soldiers as well as the opposing armies. This is the first time you've really heard much beyond what you've seen as you traveled from place to place, avoiding the bounty on your head. nonetheless, it is strange remembrance, but an oddly comforting one.
Give me 1 second. There's some kind of weird noise going on in my house.
Oh, okay. No problem.
1 sec.
But yeah, if you guys want to take a quick, we can take a quick break if you need to handle something.
Yeah, I
Lovely.
can grab a new drink and stuff.
Yeah. If you guys want to take a quick 5-minute break, we can do that. Taking care of that. Interesting things afoot.
Oh yeah.
No kidding. I know. As soon as we go to the tower, nothing's good is gonna happen. We went to a clock tower. We got attacked by harpies. We're gonna go to this other tower. We're gonna get attacked by mutated harpies. It's not gonna be great. We're taking a quick 5 years, bud. As soon as you
Yeah, if you need to grab water or anything.
Bad.
I was
all good.
said we could take a quick break while you were handling what you needed to do.
All good. Yeah, no, there was just some weird banging, and like I think it was just from outside, but yeah, like Deli and I both looked at each other and were like, wait, what the heck?
Sorry if I blindsided you there with that one.
Hey.
I just, I embellished.
And like the story's been the lore and the story's been good today. I've been enjoying. I've been taking it all in. Just didn't expect it to go positively when that experiment.
I know.
That was wild.
I gotta sprinkle a little sugar in there on that,
Yeah.
you know, that shit cake every once
Yeah,
in a while.
right. Yeah, I was like, God, this kid's so nice. At what point is he just gonna try to stab him? Like,
Yeah, he brings a blade out.
Queen of Thieves, stab!
and then just poofs out of, vanishes all of a sudden. That's just what her MO is. God damn it.
Shank!
Literal death by 1,000 cuts for the entire party.
You all come back and Chugrulk is eviscerated. Also, oh, wait for Shiny to put his headphones back on. Also, Shiny, you, just so you're aware, you do have those bars of platinum as well.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay. Yeah, well, when we talk about it.
I think we said approximately there were 10 bars and they're 500 apiece, so that's
Ooh.
equivalent gold
Yeah.
weight of about $5,000.
Ooh, boy.
Wait.
There we go.
Yeah, do I have it? I know I have it. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you put them in the
Fine.
bag of holding.
You better freaking have these.
I do. The way I actually have it is it says I just have one. I have it marked down as 10 pounds. I have my note. Oh no, sorry. Note says 10 pounds, and then it says stopper says worth like 5K. That's literally what the note says.
Upper set, like 5K. Love it.
Exactly. Spot on.
It really
It's
gets our
fucking
point
great.
across.
Well, it's funny
Like, there you
because
go.
the Dungeon Master's Guide doesn't, like, bars of platinum are in there, but it doesn't give you a direct conversion into gold. It's
Gotcha.
Silver is the new conversion rate for.
so I had to look up this kind of shit, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
And Wizards
I
of the
think
Coast, man,
Really,
they're
you're lowballing us if we were to be honest, but it's okay.
no.
trust
I believe me, this has been done before, and people are like, "Yeah, 10 bars is approximately this much in gold
Yeah.
weight."
NFTs in D&D world.
D&D.
Getting
Yeah.
scammed.
It gets to a point in D&D where, like, things get so out of whack as far as like the economy, it basically turns into fucking WoW, where the gold means nothing.
The gold means.
It's just a means to, you know, to excite and think about other acquisitions later.
Right.
I wonder why your DM is giving you all this gold out of nowhere.
Yeah,
What did we do? What's
you guys are
coming?
gonna be rich. You're going to an awful place, by the way.
Why are they giving us all these nice things? But yeah, if you guys are ready to jump back into it, we'll pick back up with Giorgio and Cedric arriving back.
So
Tim,
both of those conversations that you went through.
right? I would assume all
while
this
we
was
were
kind of
out.
happening
Yeah,
simultaneously.
Okay, perfect.
Same time, yeah.
So now we're all magically, conveniently convening back in the courtyard. In your conversation with River and her available things and discussions, the individual she was alluding to earlier was Tobias Crow, the blacksmith that you all had worked with previously, that she's been working with and helping to sort of create some of these infusions of delirium infused with arcane measures to create new interesting items. But with that, Cedric, Giorgio, Tim, and Chugrulk, you return now into the courtyard. It's creeping up on midday at this point. As you see, many of the hooded lanterns are beginning to gather, either going on their patrols once they are cleared by Elias or another commanding officer like Petra or Ansem. You see stationed at the various entrances and exits to the barracks. There are three major entrances to the barracks that you've seen, very obviously seen. The main entrance going out through the portcullis gate, or I'm sorry, one portcullis, and then there's the actual Shepherd's Gate, which is the closest exterior wall gate of Drakenheim, which is identical to the one that you saw at Temple Gate now, with the pair of portcullis gates, one on the exterior and one on the interior of the wall itself, with the interior portions able to enter on either side of those walls. Each of the gates, as you know, Giorgio, are identical in their functionality. They're just in different locations.
Mhm.
You have the Academy Gate, Temple Gate, Shepherd's Gate, Champion's Gate, and Kingsway. There may be one more. I'd have to look at the map. But those are the major ones on various directional portions of the city. The one closest to you now being Shepherd's Gate. And then there's the two other gated portions. One, a metal reinforced wooden biparting door leading towards the center of the city on the eastern side of the barracks, going deeper back towards the economic district that you remember of the city, the central portion of the city where the clock tower is, the various trade buildings and things of that nature, as well as splitting off and going slightly north towards the gardens, which you all experienced not too long ago. But at this time, you have a bit of preparation time. It's a little more than a week now that before your potential meeting with Christian Lament, and then also between now and then, ample time to begin hashing out and executing your plan to potentially retake the inscrutable tower and capture one of the known seals of the city. The staff the inscrutable staff of the Amethyst Academy, of the former staff and article of power of the Archmage of Drakenheim. This time, what would you all like to do?
I think it would be a good idea to get at least a plan for the assault on the tower. So who would be like, who knows the most about it? Who could we sit down with? Is this sit down with Elias and come up with a plan, or is there somebody else to like that would have like an idea of what the tower, like the layout of the tower is, who's in there, where, how to get to it, you know?
You would know
throwing a bunch
that
of different things out, but I mean, we've got nothing right now, right?
you would know based on the conversations earlier that Elias has already sent out scouts towards that area as close as they can get. You guys would remember, and I think I can pull this up so you guys can see. Let me pull up the map. Academy Tower, or the inscrutable tower of the Amethyst Academy, is very close in proximity to the Deep Haze. Let me pull this up so you guys can see, and then I'll pull this up for everyone following along at home so they can see. The Academy Tower on this map here is in close proximity to Queen's Park Garden. It's number 10 on that map. And those areas that...
Than what you usually show us?
Excuse me?
Is this a different map than what you usually show us?
It's the same map, it just shows the pockets of deep haze.
Okay, yeah, because it looks distinctly more purple.
Yes, yeah, those purple areas are those you're aware of pockets of deep haze where it's like soup. It is damn near impossible to see through it.
Yeah.
And you remember that having tried to traverse through Queen's Park Garden. You would know that going into this segment of the haze is damn near lethal in a short period of time. And would require some preparation.
Which gate? Are we at the Shepherd's Way gate or are we at the Temple gate? I can't remember.
You are at number 5, specifically number 9 is the barracks, just inside Shepherd's Gate.
Okay. Interesting, the tower's at 10.
The tower's at 10. It's not too far from where you are.
Yeah, and Queen's Park Garden, that's where we actually went to try to find some flowers, and we inadvertently ran into the
Lilies.
pillar, filter, all that jazz. Okay,
Oops.
get them in there. Yeah, so pretty much all that we have is Tim would have a pretty decent knowledge, at the very least, of the tower and its surroundings, but maybe not so much now as to what it like.
Especially that
there.
it's fucking broken in half.
Yeah. Also, it's still floating.
I could probably remember the first couple of floors. That's what I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's over there.
What you
But
would
they're sending scouts ahead to check for any sort of things between here and there, at the very least.
Right,
Yeah.
right, as close as they can get to it, but judging from what you can see at this distance, you know, from some of the parapet walls of the towers and the gates, you would see that getting close to the tower, at least to the main entrance of the tower, would put you in the deep haze. So this would be one of the first obstacles to circumvent or overcome.
I'll mention what supplies we can get from River, what they got now, I'll explain the bits of the rings and what potions they have if we want to stock up over on there.
Okay, definitely would be wise.
Mechanically above the table, there are rings of spell storing. The ones that are more ornate would need attunement. The others are much simpler. They can store one level 1, basically one spell slot of level 1. Each one of the 4 individual, like, less ornate rings. But those don't require attunement.
And have we decided what to do with these big old bars of platinum? All of them.
I mean,
We have to launder this money, right?
yeah, I mean, we basically can I can kind of just be like, listen, can I give you some of it?
You would know, Tim, that the Academy deals in rare materials quite often, that more than likely this wouldn't be an issue.
Fantastic. We love that.
That of individuals within the are with and without the continent, the Amethyst Academy deals in a lot of exotic materials, including platinum, for either purposes of trade or for magical regions. As you guys are discussing your plans of action atop the gates, observing from afar, this time, Eldrick approaches you, Tim, having returned from a brief conversation with Elias, as well as the red-headed man that has arrived once more with a cart full of various materials, armors, things of that nature. You recognize this man as Tobias Crow, the blacksmith that's working in and out of Emberwood Village, doing contract work for the Hooded Lanterns, as well as several other individuals in and around Emberwood Village and Drakenheim at large. And he's arrived with a number of different things in a four-wheeled horse-drawn carriage. But Eldrick approaches you first, Tim, and with him he's got a small leather-bound, it looks like a surgeon's kit. The scouts of the Hooded Lanterns stated that everything around the tower is totally encompassed in the deeper parts of the haze. Based on the information you gave us prior, Tim, we've come to reverse engineer our associate Oscar Yoren's research. And he opens up the surgeon's kit, and you see a bit better looking syringes than the ones that you used prior, but still containing that sort of orangey, viscous, opaque liquid in 4 syringes. This is 4 charges of Aqua Expurgo that he hands to you all.
Ooh.
Nice. Love that.
I was hoping we would get that.
We'll say these disappeared off the shipment. And that's the only thing you heard from me.
4 total. Sorry.
4. So, but we did improve a bit on his design, his formula. These will last you a tad bit longer. Approximately 8 hours before the ill effects take hold. So they're a bit more... Yes, a bit more, refined is a good word. You have more minds and a bit of a better processing and equipment. You can do a bit better job than somebody who's stationed out of an old house.
That makes sense.
But I'd recommend you speak with River as well as Mr. Crow over there. He's been working alongside us to produce some interesting items. I'm sure he wouldn't mind exchanging or trading directly some of these newer arcane implements. What would you all like to do?
Does it seem like Tobias has other sort of things in his art or whatever he pulled, or does it just seem like kind of standard?
He has a mixture.
Swords, all that jazz.
He has a mixture of standard-looking items, and then he has some that are far more intricate. Some that you can clearly see have had various delirium infusions in their make.
Can we go through them? Can we get does he have like an inventory list?
Not necessarily an inventory list. Is there something specific you're looking for?
Not off the top of my head, but
Go ahead and give me an investigation check as you kind of look over and see what you spot.
So mechanically, I would like to have higher AC.
Okay.
But you know, it's I get us into situations where we tend to almost die.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Something to make us a little bit,
Tankier.
or to make me a little more sturdy would be great. I think.
Weights. Well,
I've got a couple of rings that I've taken a liking to, and so if he's got cool rings that make my punches bigger, that would be cool.
Not necessarily any type of arcane jewelry, as Tobias is not so much a jeweler as he is a blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
But
did you say investigation check?
yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation.
11.
11. Not horrible, but not, stellar. You see, one of the first obvious items that you do see is there's a beautifully ornate-looking shield among the various items that are kind of rode off inside the cart. It's one of the first items you see. It's has the same sort of strange sort of Damascus pattern in the metal. Very much an amalgamation, an alloy that's made. A similar alloy, Chugrulk, to what your armor is made of.
Right.
With
Sick.
various finely inlaid runes with a distinct octarine crystalline form to them, overlaid with a thin layer of glass to stabilize them. You can definitely sense, Tim, that there's a charge, a sort of arcane energy coming off of this shield. In addition to that, you see various chainmails and things of various quality, various leather armors, things of that nature, of varying quality and control. Nothing that's been infused with magic in this regard, like armor-wise, but but definitely finely made for sure. Perhaps finer than what you carry now.
I wear chainmail right now. That's gives me base AC 16. If there's something better than that, something that I could wear. I don't ever take this off, so it's not like I don't need to be concerned about the disadvantage itself, which I already have anyway. So
As you're kind of looking over the cart and eyeing some of the finer items, Tobias kind of steps up. Your armor's looking a bit shabby there, son. This might be a bit tight on you, but we can definitely adjust for fit and finish and your size. I think we can make it work and extend it a little bit if you don't mind me taking your old one off your hands and filling in the gaps a bit.
yeah, what do you got?
Mechanically, it's chainmail +1.
Okay.
So it's just a finer
Finer make.
It would cost you, as of right now, about 700 gold.
Okay. Did we agree to split up that platinum even?
I don't think we did, but I mean, whatever we can whatever, just we can split it. It's whatever.
Because I have almost enough to pay for that, but with the platinum, definitely would.
Okay, cool.
That'd be 7.
Between it'd be 1,250 a piece. If you roughly in gold.
Oh, is it
Does he take trade-ins?
5,000?
5. Yeah.
I
10
had
bars
the
at 500 a
head.
piece. It's roughly 1 pound of platinum is worth 500 gold.
Yeah, 2.5 bars for each of us.
50. That's beautiful. How much?
50 gold. I'm gonna punch it in right now just so it's in my
It's so
inventory.
much. Holy shit.
But yeah, mechanically it is a fine set of chainmail, and while you're eyeing it over and kind of test fitting it, Giorgio, like you said, it's a bit tight because it's made for a smaller individual, like a normal sized humanoid, not someone that's bordering on your stature. But if you were to give him the old one that you have, he could certainly trim it up, and that's where some of the cost is coming from, is the additional fitting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he would be dismantling the one that I have to kind of.
Yep. So yeah, you'd get rid of that one and you would exchange it for a +1. But you look it over and it is of fine quality.
Yeah.
Far nicer than the one you've used now that's heavily tarnished from use and
put through the ringer.
Right, who probably has some bile stains on it from various contaminated moments in your past few weeks here in the city. It's been cleaned a few times, but it's beginning to develop a bit of a tarnish and funk to it.
Mm-hmm.
The leather portions are
+1, nothing else on it.
Yeah.
To equipment, got it. And then put that bad boy on. 18 AC, let's go.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, you see the shield. There's various one other item that you would see as you're kind of looking over the cart that some of the soldiers are kind of steering clear of. You see is what looks like a one-handed mace. It is of that same sort of like Damascus pattern, meteoric iron alloy that your armor was made of, Chugrulk. But instead of the normal spiked ball, Morningstar head or, blunted, sort of angular striking head of this mace, it is a glass encrusted large lump of delirium crystal that has been infused and stabilized as the head of this mace.
You break glass.
It is as beautiful as it is terrifying.
Could I pick that up and ask Tobias just in general, about that mace?
Aye, it's one of the new make and model. It's a little collaboration between myself and one of them academy mages. It's they fashioned this striking head while I affixed it to a handle, and you watch as the metal kind of wraps around. We surmise that if the meteor, when it fell through, containing this crystal, was able to hold itself together as it struck from up on high, that it would surely be able to hold this head of this mace. And based on what I've seen from your companion over there, that armor we fashioned has held up pretty nicely. As he looks over to you, Chugrulk, and you've seen that this adamantine armor that he fashioned for you out of this meteoric iron is holding up quite well. This plate armor that you now wear is quite the fit and finish.
So that's the first time I knew that what I was wearing was out of this world. To be honest, I should have known, but
Oh yeah, it's up there. That meteor iron, it's something else. A bit of a pain in the ass to work with, but once you get it situated and melded together with a bit of steel, it's some terrifying stuff. Tested it out on a few old rotten fruit the other day, and the impact was normal. The had some odd effects though after making contact. Well, something I'd use day to day, but I'm interested in effects.
How much for this mace with interesting effects?
Well, this one right here, it was a time-consuming and labor of love, that one. I'd have to say about 1,100 gold.
Well, gold was a time-consuming labor of love as well. Is there any chance that you could give a little bit of a discount on it?
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check. The nat 20. Well, since you've all been quite the customers, I think we could settle on 1,000. Sounds even enough.
I think that sounds quite reasonable.
Okay. You can add. Give me a moment here. The item, it's a custom item. It's called the Comet Smasher.
jeez.
Sounds sick.
Fucking sounds cool.
Yeah.
The head of this bludgeoning weapon is made from a massive delirium crystal that crackles with arcane energies. When you hit with an attack using this weapon, the target takes an extra 3d6 necrotic damage. When you roll a 20 on an attack roll made with this weapon, it unleashes an arcane anomaly. You can roll twice on the table and choose either option.
That's rad.
That is sick.
That's freaking cool.
Chugrulk, Tim, anything of interest to you?
I'm not like just thinking to myself here, but I'm tempted, but yeah, I'm trying to stay true to my myself in paying back what I what I feel I owe.
You also have the items that Tim had mentioned to you all that River had: potions, the rings of spell storing, and the ability to cast stored spells in said rings.
Available for purchase.
Available for purchase, yes.
And then also, is there? I forget. I'm getting mixed up. Is there other stuff that they're bringing the river to, or is that what this is now?
That was what this is.
Okay. Gotcha.
In addition to the Aqua Expurgo that Eldrick had given to you all.
Okay, so we each got one of those as well, by the way, right? Aqua Expurgo?
Yeah, you can add one Aqua Expurgo. Yeah, it may have differing components now or terminology, but essentially it lasts for 8 hours now. You can call it refined if you want. But it has the same
6
effects
hours,
as...
but whatever.
Yeah, this would be 8, so it's slightly better. But it has the same effects, allowing you to negate contamination. But if you negate contamination and you run out of charges and you're still in the deep haze, then you're immediately incapacitated if you use the last charge.
What, I still have a potion. How much are potions?
Regular potions of healing are 35, greater are 70, and superior are 150.
And superior, I'm gonna, let's see, I was 700 for the chainmail, right, that I got?
Yes, 700.
And then 150 for superior potions?
Yes.
I'm gonna take 2 of those.
Okay.
I'll just ask.
Do you have anything of the casting variety for weaponry?
I'm afraid it's not really up my alley. You might want to talk with River if there's something you want custom made later on, but it's not really something we get asked for often. We can have it prepared for you in the future. There's something you're itching to have, or itching to create.
Okay, thank you.
Based on, I think, what I mentioned earlier, River has healing potions, the one I mentioned earlier, potions of flying, potions of haste, and potions of featherfall. The haste, flying, and featherfall are all 225 apiece. And then the Minor Ring of Spell Storing, I think I mentioned already. Tim, I believe, was 600. The other ones individually are, I believe I said 100 well, roughly they would normally come out to 150 a piece, but she says as a bulk discount she can give them to you for 500 for all 4. And then to cast per spell per level would be 50 gold apiece. So a level 1 spell cast once would be 50 gold. And then for a level 2 would be 100, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Those spells that she can cast are essentially anything on the wizard spell list.
So I'll what's it called? I'll just because we got money. I'll buy I'll definitely get a potion of haste and flight off of river
Okay.
for
So
sure.
That's 450 for both of those.
And then as for the ring, I definitely want to do a ring with level 4. I'm definitely willing to shell for it. I just have to figure out what spell I want to put in it.
Okay. So the level 4 ring, basically the pair, is 600. And that's a ring of spell storing with 4 charges. You should be able to look at, any combination of your spells up to level 4. So you'd have 1 level 4, 2 level 2s, 4 level 1s, so on and so forth. And I believe the Ring of Spell Storing does require attunement, so it should be under Ring of Spell Storing.
Yeah, the new mace does as well, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Can I just I'll just do the ring and then I'll just do I'll just add fireball into it at 4th level.
Okay.
So it was 600 and 450, right? So 1050.
So it's 600, and then level 4 spell of fireball would be another 200, so 800 total for the ring.
Okay,
And then if you wanted the other rings, that's the other 4 single rings. That's you can only equip the 1 level 4 storing ring.
yeah.
But if anyone else wants the other ones or the other remaining ones, it's 500 for the bulk deal, or 150 a pop for a single charge ring.
Other than that, I'm good. All right, so 1250. Okay.
Yeah, 800. What else did you? And then 450. So
Yeah,
1250
one
total.
flight.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Cool.
That math. Quick maths.
The math do we mathin'.
The math do be mathin'. Cedric, Chugrulk, Georgio, anything else for you all?
I did take a potion of healing. Superior.
Here,
status
got it.
food.
You got it.
I believe I am all good on items, especially for how much little gold I have.
Did you add the 1250 from the platinum?
I'm just adding that now, but yeah, I just meant before that I didn't have much.
That's fair. So while you all are in the process of making your transactions, discussing with some of the Hooded Lanterns and general excitement for new capabilities, you watch as Ansem and Petra, accompanied by a pair of scouts, approach you all. Having now a few hours have passed, enough time for the fleet-footed scouts of the Hooded Lanterns, their urban rangers, who are adept at traveling the rooftops and the various alleyways of the city, return after being interrogated per Elias's request, in and out of the barracks, you come to find them approaching you with new information. As Ansem begins first, his sort of stoic, bit angered look still across his face. Although he trusts you a bit more now, he still carries that bit of unease for adventurers in general of the past dealings, but nonetheless looks at you all. Our scouts inform us that, at least from where they could see, that the tower is completely encompassed in the deep haze. It is what we could see from the adjacent rooftops. There are a number of creatures. The outer plaza leading into the tower has a number of entities roaming about, some quite large, in fact. And there appears to be a distinctly intense glow in that area. I would imagine the ponds and man-made rivers around the approach to the Academy Tower are deeply contaminated by this delirium. But that's all we were able to garner from our rudimentary approach. Unfortunately, the deep haze doesn't leave much to be desired as far as visibility. I would be quite aware that you will be expecting something upon arriving in the main entrance to the plaza. With that information, what would you all like to do?
I think we should probably make our way to the tower as soon as we can. The Queen of Thieves seems to be as smart and cunning as he is. It's probably familiar with some items being in the tower, so we should probably try to get there sooner rather than later, I would think. We don't have anywhere else to be right now, do we?
No, and if the tower is as difficult to get in as we expect it to be, she may forego that, and with the documents that she has, start working on collecting the other two. If she is who we think that she is, and she is the daughter of the king, she would probably be as familiar with these last two objects as anyone else except the people who held them last.
Right.
So that any knowledge that she likely has, coupled with the fact that she's got these documents, means that she probably won't take her long to get the last two. If she would correctly guess that we're going to go for the staff and just say, look, they're going to go get that one, I'll go get the other two, and then big showdown, when they show up, it's 5-on-1. If I win, I've got the last one, and now I'm king of the world, right? So probably right. Let's just go.
It's moving.
Yeah. Can we get any sort of escort to go with us? At the very least to the tower.
Petra looks at you all. Of course, we can escort you along the rooftops, at least until the outer edge of the deep haze. We are quite familiar with this area, as it's in close proximity to the barracks. So we don't imagine we'll see anything in between there, but once you're inside the haze, you'll be on your own. Very well. She nods, and Ansem calls out to a number of the scouts to begin preparing for your departure. One of which, Chugrulk, is the young man that had spoken with you earlier. As you see him give you a salute from the parapet walls of the barracks, carrying now an older-looking longbow of a style that doesn't really match the rest of the hooded lanterns, but one that you've seen from past conflicts. An older sort of weapon, but nonetheless a finely crafted one. Perhaps an heirloom of a family member. But you see him notching an arrow as he pulls his hood over and looks down from the parapets as they begin their traversal across some of the adjacent rooftops, kind of leaping along a little ahead of you guys, about maybe a quarter to a half mile, eyeing anything that may be in your path towards the Academy Tower. As you get closer to the tower, especially you, Tim, you get that strong, increasing scent of ozone, of charged air that you become now so familiar with here in Drakenheim, as it begins to amplify and charge and increase ever more so until it becomes almost unbearable. And for the rest of you, it's almost sickening. It interacts differently with different people. Some, it's a sickeningly sweet, like painfully syrupy, medicine-y taste in the back of your mouth and all through your nose. For others, it's a sulfuric smell charged with crackling energy, as if you had inhaled lumps of sugar into your nose, and it burns almost as you get closer to this deep haze. This is your cue now to begin taking as you think about your past experiences in the gardens, perhaps now would be the best time to dose your Aqua Expurgo.
Yeah. All right.
Bottoms up.
Not so much bottoms up
No,
as
you gotta stab that
Yeah, I
shit.
know. Yeah.
as you Pulp Fiction into your chest.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
pull fit, that's yeah.
Precisely
That's
It is in a kind of brutal look. Well, it's nicer than the one that you were given by Oscar Yoren, but still, it's a finer needle this time around and not quite so blunt, but still a large hypodermic needle with a plunger on the end of this viscous orangish liquid as you inject it directly into your sternum, directly into the heart. As you push down the plunger, you feel this cold pain sting into your chest, but as you pull it out, you feel this warmth begin to spread through your body as that sickeningly sweet and charged energy is kind of masked by a sort of numbness, as if taking like an antihistamine in a allergy-rich environment, kind of overcoming and masking that feeling, at least for now. But just like before, you have, I believe it's, I'd have to look at it again. I believe it's advantage on Constitution saving throws against contamination. And if you do fail, you can choose to succeed up to 3 times, but after the 3rd time, you become incapacitated for an hour.
Oh, that's not good.
So, and if you were in the deep haze when that happens, needless to
that's
say,
really
that
good.
would
Things are
probably
ticking
be
quick.
pretty lethal. Yeah. So just be
You're gonna
aware.
get some cool stuff.
But yes, as you inject your Aqua Expurgo deep into your chest, as the liquid begins to disperse through your bodies, beginning to mask you as you enter into the deep, cloudy, octarine haze, heading closer to the tower. How are you all proceeding towards the tower? Are you marching certainly? Are you attempting to be covert? How are you going about this?
Well, I got no stealth, so.
Yeah, I mean,
You're just like, fuck it,
three
let's
of the
go.
4 of us have disadvantage on stealth. However,
Okay.
Yeah.
that can be
The sneak
counteracted
emote,
by. That can be counteracted by what Cedric has, the
Pass without a trace.
Pass without trace, yeah. So that can at least help. Now, the haze you said is hard to see through, right?
Yeah, visibility is no more than like 100 feet.
Okay, so
You can see the tower extending up into the sky. That's your reference point.
yeah.
In fact,
we
I
can
will,
see the top of it, but we can't see where it is.
Yes, in fact, I will go ahead and pull up.
Because looking up is less hazy.
Right. I don't know if everyone's seen this picture. I rather like this one. It's a really sick representation of the tower from above.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I remember this one. It's a minute, but yeah.
That's
Very cool. Okay, so we're basically coming up from these houses that we can see, right?
right. Basically, it's hard to see from where you're at right now, but roughly you'd be on the left-hand side of the tower. But you're turning the corner towards that flat face that's directly facing you right now in that picture.
Okay, so we're coming from the left side, coming around it to underneath.
Right, to the longer face directly in front. But even at this distance, you can see this massive, nearly 1,200-foot pillar of onyx extending into the sky above the city. Go ahead.
So I was just so what I would say with the natural cover, I guess, we get from the haze itself, we could sneak through and just see what's there, because there may be some stuff that's near the base of the tower. I'm sure. I'm sure very strong beings will have collected here. You know.
Right.
That seems the most natural when you've got supernatural power like this in a place.
Hmm?
So,
Oh, did I change that? Hold on one
so
second.
we've got 8 hours on this thing, before the Aqua Expurgo runs out.
Yep.
And without the protection from the Aqua Expurgo, is it once a minute?
Yeah, every 60 seconds you'd be
Every 60
making.
seconds we have to make a save. Yeah. So, can you give us pass without trace, so that we can hurriedly, like, we won't have to move slowly but still maintain
We'll have a good
some
speed.
semblance of being quiet.
I'd be willing to do that.
Give us at least the ability to show up before everybody knows we're there, if there is any.
Yeah, it gives us an hour's worth.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't be more than a few minutes of travel from here on out, just because 8 hours is all we got.
Yeah, we would hope so. So yeah, I would go ahead and pass without a trace.
Okay.
It's a radius around you, right?
I believe it's
Pass without
within
a trace, I can just
15
pick
feet.
people.
You have to be within 15
Yeah.
feet of Cedric.
We have to for it to work on us, or for it to continue to work on us.
Continue to, yeah, you have to
Okay,
be
yeah.
within proximity
We
of
have
him.
to stay. We have to stay within 15 feet. Yeah. Okay. So we do have to stay together until we get there, but that's fine. We
Yeah,
are.
they're
so.
30 feet. You get plus 10 on
30
your
feet. There you go.
Nice. Okay.
or on
Yeah,
your
so-
oh.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
plus 10 to your stealth rolls, and you do not leave any tracks, and do not make any sound as you step.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's walk with purpose.
Cedric reaches out, grabbing the holy symbol, gripping it as you feel this undulation in the fog as your footsteps clamoring of your armor suddenly, as you step and step, suddenly begins to vanish as you begin to move forward. At this time, I will need a Gruth stealth check from everyone. And you can add plus 10 to that. So whatever you roll, just add 10. So...
I rolled a
2. 12. We have a 20. We have a 21. That's not bad. Okay, and an 18. Okay, so on average, not a bad, not a bad roll.
Wait. I do have +2 on stealth. Sorry, so it's a 14 out of 12.
Okay, so a 14. So yeah, so 14, 18, 21, and 20. So yeah, but above average for the group.
Job, guys.
As you step in, even wearing your heavy armor's chainmail plate, the magic cast by your companion begins to shadow your steps as you approach. You begin to see, Tim, you remember this outer area, these large walls of hedges that come up, now a bit overgrown, not unlike the gardens that you had infiltrated but a few days prior, or a week prior. I forget the exact timeline.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Time is a soup. As you approach cautiously to these hedges, coming upon these wrought iron gates that extend up even higher than these, several, like about 30, 35 feet all around this opening plaza, this man-made garden, this pond area, now overgrown. You hear the sound of strange bugs and things of that nature. But you also hear a monstrous sloughing of flesh and steps mixed together. And these groanings of a mixture of different sized creatures. But as you kind of come up towards the gate, just out of your the edge of your periphery, as you can barely see the entrance to the steps of the academy gates and the tower, the main opening doors, you see one of several monstrous creatures. It is a horrifying amalgamation of flesh that not so much steps as it moves, but amorphously like an amoeboid, where one leg lifts off the ground, it retracts back into its form while another extends out, like this fleshy amoeboid, multiple appendages moving about in this strange, unnatural rhythm. Various appendages reaching out to the larger trees that have grown up in this plaza. It is a horrifying sight of a creature, and it is massive. At least 18 to 20 feet tall, and extending out nearly 15 to 20 feet wide from appendage to appendage. In addition to that, you hear other unholy sounds as creatures through sloshing sounds of water and rustling leaves, and you get this awful putrid smell as you come up on the gate. What would you all like to do?
Do we have any sort of visual cover?
You, as far as you know, you're unseen now. You haven't seen any sign that these creatures, as you've noticed them, have noticed you, but you have cover from the edge of the maze, or the maze. The hedge. I was thinking hedge maze for some reason. It's not a hedge maze, but like the hedge outer wall. You have cover,
Yeah.
but as you step in, there's several larger trees and bushes, but it'd be a slightly higher DC than what you've already succeeded on, were you to try to move about unseen. In
Okay,
fact, let
let's-
me go ahead and give you a little visual representation of what you're looking at now. As you approach the plaza, in fact, I think I have my water everywhere. That would have been bad. Have a little something for y'all.
Wait, Spudley, about how much time? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I just.
Yeah. We'll probably, after I introduce this here, we'll leave it off on a cliffhanger. How does that sound?
No,
sounds
that's cool.
good.
I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I assumed that you might have been doing something
Yeah.
along those lines.
It was
We'll be
fine.
good.
So-
The inscrutable tower of the Amethyst Academy is an immensely tall structure that reaches a dizzying height of 1,200 feet. The shimmering obsidian walls are perfectly smooth. There is not a single window or embellishment along its outer face, save a deep vertical groove cut into the pinnacle. Seen at a distance, the tower appears relatively narrow, though it is roughly 150 feet wide and anchored by sharply arched buttresses at the base. The tower has been smashed apart roughly 2/3 of up its height. Remarkably, the top of the tower hovers above in utter defiance of gravity. Between the upper and lower sections is a gaping breach with pieces of floating debris locked in the air, frozen in time at the moment a meteor soared through it. A keen-eyed observer can see fragments of delirium, broken bookshelves, and shattered tomes bobbing around the wreckage. As you approach the plaza, the cobblestone streets break here. A campus park surrounding the inscrutable tower. A forest of delirium crystals have grown up around the tower that surrounds a small artificial lake and rivers. Overlooking the pond is a large stone plinth surrounded by arcane arches. As you walk up, you see now some of the structures you thought were trees are glowing. They are massive delirium crystal clusters, some taller than both you, Cedric, and Georgio, of solid crystalline delirium jetting up in untold directions out of the ground and the water.
That's crazy.
But let me go ahead and pull up our little battle map here for y'all. It's the map, it's the map, it's the map, it's the map.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh my fucking god.
You all are at the
Hey,
southern edge, the
Christ.
bottom edge of the stairs that you see there are the entrance to the tower. These massive creatures. In fact, I think I can show you a better picture of those.
Your brain mouther?
That's what the small one
Um,
looked like, yeah.
Yeah.
These fucking guys.
You
We
can
ran
give
into
me
them once
a
before.
perception check if you would like to tell closer. You don't hear anything at this distance. Not like you did before.
14.
Oh, 14 from with a 14, you don't hear anything, but you do smell an awful putrid stench coming from these creatures specifically.
Gross.
That putrid, awful, rotting smell, like, yeah, it's almost makes you want to vomit when you get a big whiff of it.
Makes me want to vomit in real life.
But let me pull up the these larger creatures that I will just go ahead and reveal. They are called protein abominations.
Protein abominations. Okay.
They are delightful.
They've also gone to the Muscle Fitness Club.
And that's it's yeah, they don't so much walk as they move like amoeboids.
A weird velociraptor.
Kind of. I think I gotta edit this so I can show it to you real quick. But I'll put it in the these journals here. And then go to players. Oh. Info. There you go. You guys see that?
Yeah.
You watch as these creatures move, their legs don't so much walk as they extend out from the main form, and then the one that's lifting retracts back, allowing multiple appendages to move like pseudopods more so than limbs. As they drag and shuffle and slurp across these muddied, contaminated grounds. But we'll leave that until next time. And I'll let you guys contemplate your battle tactics for next time. And decide what you want to do. But we'll go ahead and just end things there, because... or if you want to try to avoid them, I don't know. That is up to y'all.
Yeah. I think we should avoid them. That's my novel idea. Not deal with it.
Yeah,
But,
avoid them until we have to deal with them.
yeah, it looks
yeah.
like a weird thing is a plug, so it's probably not that quick. We could probably avoid it.
You can certainly
Yeah,
try.
it'll just grow another like 4 legs and just run at us.
Oh yeah, I can see this thing going so fast. Like,
Yeah, because with as big as it is, I mean, just like, okay, like,
Yeah.
it's gonna jump.
Yeah, its gate is massive.
It's
just
gonna
reminds
jump
me,
across
yeah,
the-
just
Yeah.
reminds me of like something that would be like, you know, that classic where you just all of a sudden blink and it's like halfway across the room, like that
Yeah.
just like moves
Yeah.
back, like it goes into like liquid form and then like somehow, like, you know, it's like,
Yeah. Mechanically, these are huge creatures.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
They're
Which is just a little bit too
Wow.
big to do cool stuff.
wow.
not big enough to not do really cool stuff.
Oh, that's terrifying.